My name is Earnest Rhone. I'm the proud father of 3. My name is Earnest Rhone. I grew up in Ogden, Arkansas. Well, Ogden, Arkansas is a small town north of Texarkana, about 11 miles. It's a small town, population of about 500 people. And when I was a kid growing up in Ogden, the population was about the same. It hasn't changed much in recent years. Ogden was a robust town, had its own little elementary school, and small, close community. Everyone bonded together, went to church on Sundays, attended the same elementary school, Morris Elementary School, there located in Ogden, Arkansas. And we went to that elementary school, Morris Elementary School, up until the 6th grade. And from there we went to Ashdown Public School System from there. We had buses that took us back and forth. However, the only problem that I had with that, living in Ogden, going to school in Ashdown, it affected my athletics. Black school didn't have athletics. White school did have athletics. So living in Ogden, Arkansas, which was 8 miles from Ashdown, my transportation was limited since we didn't not have a bus. My father worked at a milk dairy, which required him to work a split shift. And what I mean by a split shift, the cows had to be milked twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. We only had one automobile, so my father had to take that one automobile back and forth to work. So therefore, when playing athletics, football after school, I had no ride to the house. So that was a problem. So in order to overcome that problem, as you know, there were Nakusa Papers, they're located in Ashdown. The practice field from the entrance to the paper mill, I'd say about 3 miles. So after practice over in the afternoon, I'd walk to the entrance to that paper mill and stand there until one of the employees were on their way home through Ogden to Texarkana, and I'd catch a ride. And most of the time they'd pick me up. As you know, I lived 8 miles from the football field. So when school ended, technically where everybody else went to the house, got a meal, something to eat, I did not. After school ended, I kind of wandered around up until it was time to report back. And started getting dressed for that afternoon football game. It wasn't until, later in the season that the head coach, kind of took me in and was wondering, said, "Where are you going after the school's over?" I said, "Hey, go in here." But he started taking me home. I started eating with him and we started traveling back and forth. A lot of people don't know that because I never talked about it. But his name was Dick Hayes, and the head coach of Ashdown High School football team. And so we kind of formed a relationship. A whole lot of people don't know about that. I have 3 beautiful kids, of which I'm proud of all three. The oldest being EJ, which is Earnest Rhone Jr., followed by Elena, and our youngest, Anthony Morris. EJ is our firstborn. With EJ being the firstborn, there was a lot of learning involved in taking care of our first little one. And my wife, Cassandra, was very dedicated, very into it, making sure that he got everything he needed. As I said, he was the firstborn. I had an older sister that pretty much took care of him as a younger baby while Cassandra and I went to work. And EJ also had some grandparents, Bobby and Fletcher Harris, that took extremely good care of him. As a matter of fact, people thought that he was their child rather than ours because they took the time to share it with him. So they were a whole lot into raising him also. Elena, our middle child, our first and only girl, which she became the queen of the house, I guess you could say, of both of us. And of course, being a girl and me being a protected father, of those girls, she was, very, very, very lovely. My sister also, Estella, took care of her along with Cassandra's parents also. So we leaned heavily on her mother and dad. My sister Stella, especially when those two kids was young and we was still in our profession for being educators. Me coaching and she's a teacher. Anthony, our youngest, so we were a little more seasoned with the kids when he came along. So we know a little bit more about raising kids when Anthony came along. So he grew up learning a whole lot more, spent a lot of time with his grandfather also. They were very in all our kids' lives, those grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher Harris. I'm not just overwhelming, that, got to beat the head, it got to be done this way. No, that's the way it is. Don't ask me no questions. I told you to do this, you do it, kids sometimes learn by making mistakes. But, as parents, we don't want them making mistakes that's going to hinder them in their growth, hinder them in their life, and hinder them in society. So, we try to instill in them, life, and tell them about life challenges. We're not dictators where we got to dictate everything that happened in their lives. and we're not afraid to, let them make mistakes and learning in their growth and in their maturity, because that happens. But we're here to give them instructions about life, pitfalls, and what's out there, and to prepare them for what's ahead of them. But they have to grow. We don't try to put a big shadow over them where they're afraid to make a mistake. They're afraid to learn something different, and it's not, as they're saying, it's my way or the highway. So they have an opportunity, to learn, and they come to us for directives when something in their lives become challenging. They come for us for leadership, for information, for knowledge that's going to help them in their growth and to prepare them for life and what's ahead of them. And as parents, that's what we try to, instill in them, and not be afraid to come to us regardless of what the situation is, or regardless of what the mistake they think they might have made, because as parents, we're going to love them regardless, and we want to instill that in them, that regardless of what's ahead of them, what mistake they may have made, what direction the road may have taken them, as parents, we still love them. We were very, very close as father and son. Now, because of his work schedule, we were different in a lot of ways. And let me explain that. My father was not into athletics. He was not. He, as I forestated, that his trade was, I say farm animals. We grew up with horses, cows, pigs, and we also worked the fields for growing vegetables, cucumbers, corn, watermelons. That was my summer job, and that was my job after school. That's what we all did. So my father was not into athletics, mainly because of how he was grown. He didn't know anything about football, baseball, running track, anything like that. But if you ask him something related to farm animals or farming, then you've got a straight answer and how it's supposed to be done. So I understood that. While I was out, on the football field, doing other things, sport-wise, he was providing for the family. And, it took a while to understand that, but as I got older, I did understand. And, he was a great example of how a father and that father involved in his family well-being. There's a lot of things that goes into making a successful football team. A lot of comparable things that goes into being successful parents also, it involved, consistency, hard work, give and take, being a man or woman of your word, and just loving. One thing I believe, if our kids can see us loving each other, then that's going to affect them in their lifetime, I believe, when they're married and find their love mate. Say, hey, mom and dad love each other, they hug, kiss, say all this stuff, so hey, it must not be bad. So if we can emulate that, and we've been married, for a whole lot of years, even growing up, in Wilton and Ogden. So if we can emulate, a successful marriage and love one another and in front of them, so I believe that's going to transpire and they'll grow. And when they involved in marriage and have someone that they love and they care about, and they can understand why we were like we are. We were expecting it any time, but the time was never happened when you expect or when you think it might happen. We knew the time was close, but you just never know. So we that's a big occasion, when you bring in another life and we don't know exactly, what's this all about, what experiences she's gonna have, delivering a child, and it's our firstborn. We're excited, but unknowing of the process, we're anxious. We're just anxious for this moment to happen, and to experience the results of bringing a new life into this world and experiencing that experience together. And it was momentous. Yeah. Sleepless nights, as far as taking care of the baby needs, as far as diaper change, feeding, getting up at all hours of the night to make sure that he's taken care of. And I remember, my wife don't want me to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway, because we were just young parents, and EJ was crying. And she says, he's crying so much, and I don't know what to do, So I used to tease about that sometimes, as young parents, and things like that happen. And, it's just us, and, we don't have her mother there, nor my mother there, to kind of educate us on things like that's going to happen when you bring a young child into the world. There truly have been a village that has helped us raise all our children. My sister, Estella, She was disabled. I'd say disabled. When I say disabled, she had a kidney problem, but she was moving around well, functional and stuff. So part of that village was her. When we had little kids and we needed to go to school, or she needed to go to school, or we had somewhere to go, but we couldn't took the kids. That's where we went. We went to my sister Stella. She was home. We'd call her up and say, we need to bring EJ by, for a few hours, or we need to bring Elena by for a few hours. And she was more than willing to keep them. As a matter of fact, she had kept them so often because of our jobs as being involved in the school system. They thought that they were her kids, that she had them so often. Elena, Anthony, talking about that village again, her mother and her dad took a whole lot of time with him. They used to say that my father-in-law ran a business, and my son Anthony was around him so much. They said, "Well, hey, you don't get around your grandfather so much. You can run the business as well as he could." And he's just 2 or 3 years old, so they were only teasing. But that village has definitely helped us in our lives. It helped us to get along with our profession, and just all our uncles and sisters, aunties, they've always been involved in their lives, and they've always helped us to raise our kids. One thing that I knew and my father taught me was how to work. Now, as I said earlier, my father worked at a dairy, but we also raised crops, cucumbers, watermelon, picking peas, which required a lot of work. So you were out there in the sun, working hard, just all the time, especially during the summer. But that hard work and getting up early in the morning, working in that sun, made me realize that that's something that I did not want to do. So knowing that and having the experience going through that, I knew what I had to do for my sons and my daughter, so that they would have options when they grew up, when they went to school, when they went to college, when they graduated. They would have options besides, having to regress back and go to Ogden and till the field and to pick cucumbers, pick peas and stuff like that. So they had options. So that's what encouraging them to go to school and further their education, to give them options to do more and have the options to do more rather than have no options and get less.
Hey Dad, this is your oldest son, Earnest Jr., better known as EJ. One of my most memorable moments with my dad, I remember we were out riding horses on their property. We're trying to catch them and whatnot, and I remember it was a snake we came across. It was on the ground, And of course, I was probably about between the ages of 9 to 12, and so we freak out. We call my dad, hey, it's a snake on the ground, it's a snake on the ground. And then my dad just casually walks over to it and literally like just shoos it away. Like literally shoos it away like nothing. And I remember thinking like, man, oh my gosh, this guy's not scared of snakes. And this snake is venomous. He is not scared of snakes. And so growing up, I always had this Superman mentality from my dad because I never seen my dad get hurt. Anything that he pushes through, he puts his mind to, he always excels in it. I've never seen him pretty much struggle with anything. And I think that just goes to show him as a man, that he's always shielded us and showed us how to be strong no matter what was going on in his life. He never brought that to us. We never seen that side of it. So therefore, he's a strong man. And when you have a strong man, I believe you also, inherently teach us strong things. So he's also taught us how to push through when it comes to sports, how to be strong when you don't feel like doing it. Getting up early in the morning, staying up late at night, you gotta do it. And one of the quotes my dad always told me, and I still remember to this day, and I tell my clients this, every day, you either get better or you get worse, and you never stay the same. So that's one of the quotes that he instilled to me, and I instill to my clients, even at the school that I teach. Also, me having a profession that I'm in, being a coach, helping students, also led by my dad. I saw what my dad was doing, and pretty much I wanted to be just like my dad. With everything, you always want to make your dad proud, but he's made me proud. They say that the saying goes that you can't pick your family, you can't pick your dad. So I'm so grateful and thankful that you are my dad. I love you always. Your son, Earnest Rhone Jr. Thank you for everything. I love you, and I appreciate you more than ever. Thanks.
What do you think about that?
Oh man, that's just awesome. Almost made me cry.
Hey.
And
you remember that snake though, right?
Yeah, I mean, and this is a total surprise for you to open this up and bring it and show that to me. And this is what it's going to be. I thought you was fixed to show me something that we recorded right here. Oh, that's just a awesome testimony right there. That affects my heart right there. Like I said, could have most brought tears to my eyes.
Hey Dad, as I sit down to
there.
share this message with you, I can't help but smile thinking about all the incredible moments that we have shared together. So it's hard to just choose just one. One of my most memorable moments was when I was little, eagerly looking forward to bedtime. You would read these beautiful fairy tales from this big blue storybook, and those evenings became a cherished ritual for me. And then there was this time pretty recently that I brought my house. Navigating that journey was very daunting, but having you by my side made all the difference. Your guidance and knowledge reassured me, and I'll always treasure that experience. Having you as my father means the world to me. Your patience and calmness are qualities I deeply admire. When life gets chaotic, you have this amazing ability to reassure me that everything will be okay. And I just feel so blessed to have a loving and present father, and I cherish our bond. As a proud daddy's girl, I definitely appreciate the strong male figure that you have been in my life. And so I am just so incredibly proud of you. Your perseverance is inspiring, from starting to play football in high school and making it all the way to the NFL. Your journey is remarkable. You faced challenges and you walked on to Henderson State University, then became a free agent with the Miami Dolphins. Your story from Ogden, Arkansas embodies mental strength and discipline, and it has taught me that it's never too late to pursue your dreams, and that what God has for you will always find its way to you. And so, thank you for being more than just a father. You've been a godly and present figure in my life, and I don't take that for granted. You've always been there for me, ready to listen, no matter how big or small my problems were. Your ability to calm my anxiety is something that I deeply appreciate. Even when mistakes happen, you are always there, providing love and support to me and my brothers and to other family members. Your hard work and responsibility are admirable, and I am truly blessed to have you in my life and to call you my father. So, as I close this message, I want to share a quote that resonates with me. And it is, "A father is a daughter's first love and her forever protector. And those things you are to me." So I love you so much, Dad. Thank you for everything that you do. And I appreciate you. And I love you.
Oh man, this is such a
Hey Dad, this is your youngest son, Anthony. I
oh
wanted to share with
man,
you some of my favorite memories and moments that I had
oh
with
man.
you. For me, some of the most meaningful moments in my life were spent out in the country, building fences, feeding horses, hauling hay, fishing, and hunting. Those times weren't just about the work. They were about learning what hard work really looks like, taking pride in getting my hands dirty, embracing responsibility, and most importantly, understanding what it means to become a man. Having you as my father has meant everything to me. Your love, your guidance, and the way you've led by example have shaped me into the man that I am today. You've shown me what it means to raise a family with strength, with compassion, and with character, to be a devoted husband, a supportive brother, and most of all, a loving and dependable father. Dad, I am so incredibly proud of everything you have accomplished. Coming from a small town of Ogden, Arkansas, you beat the odds. You made history as the first African American captain of the Ashland High School football team. You walked on at Henderson State University, earned all conference honors, and made it all the way to the NFL, playing 10 seasons with the Miami Dolphins. That's more than success. Now that's legacy. That's Black history. And it's an honor to be your son. Dad, thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything. You've never been just a father. You've been a teacher, a protector, a mentor, a coach, and a steady presence in my life. Whether it was early mornings working beside you, quiet talks at night, or just watching the way you live your life, you've taught me more than words could ever explain. Your love and your example have shaped me in ways I'll carry forever. And finally, Dad, I love you. I'm so thankful for all you've done and for the incredible man you are. It's a true honor to be your son, and that's something I will never take for granted. Thank you for being my rock, my guide, and my hero. I love you more than words can ever say. I love you, Dad.
I mean, that's all I could want for Father's Day. That's it right there. That is it. I am totally surprised and in awe of the 3 videos that you kids put together. It touched my heart immensely, brought tears to my eyes, and was a total surprise. We started this interview, I thought it was just a question and answer from Mr. Mullens and answering from me, but to put you all expressions into this interview, and the words that you expressed was really heartfelt, and that was totally surprising. I never expected to see you guys in this video, but I love you guys too, and it was heartfelt, heart-touching. I'll never forget it.